So the topic is, how does the National Education Policy 2020 aim to promote skill development and vocational training in India? And what are the expected outcomes? I'm sure a lot of people from the school fraternity go ahead and do this. I request the timer to be set at 15 minutes so that we could do this quick open house session. So Kannan sir and Sandeep sir, the mic is all yours, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. All had coffee? Yes. So today let's start with a small question to all of y'all. If I ask all of y'all, can you just shout out, what do you think are the skills that today's generation require? Shout out. Yes, ma'am. Job skills. Yes. Communication. Social skills. Emotional skills. Anybody else? 14 skills, okay. Time management, yes. Yes? All right. So we had predominantly emotions, time management, communication, collaboration. I think this has been there for a very, very long period of time. Correct? Do you all agree on that? Yes or no? Today, we'll start this discussion with a simple thing. Today is a transition generation. And what I mean by transition is from the old of a lot of academics to the new of an AI, collaborative, disruptive world. We are actually having a transition children generation. I'll start with a nice anecdote. In US, I was there last month, and an app a person showed me saying that this app can actually predict what skill you require. And I started to play with that app, asking questions. The app is asking me questions. And finally, you know what the app said? You need to spend more time with your wife. And that's actually true. I've been traveling a lot. And I was stunned at the way that skill was actually being done. So today's generation is going to be a totally different generation. Yes or no? You all agree with me on that? Yes? And second that I saw a lot in skills that is there is, one skill I believe as a psychiatrist working in education, I think one skill children really need to learn is the skill of learning something, skill of unlearning that immediately, because that may not be the trend again, and the skill of relearning the newer trend over there. I think if we can do these three trends very fast, I think that's the most powerful skill that we can actually teach our children. I hope all of you agree with me on that. Yes? The second skill that I think very, very important is the skill of working with people. Today, very unfortunate, most schools have only 2 PT periods, correct? Technically, from 6th to 10th, it's 2 PT periods. 40 periods in a week, but only 2. That is just less than 5% of PT period. If exams are there, PT period also is taken away. And I truly believe that's one period we always had for collaboration, which is hardly there. Second, I know most of us would have studied with moral science classes, yes or no? There was a time where nostalgically we used to connect with values. Today, hardly you have one period allocated for that. And I feel more and more we focus on academics and mark base, more and more children realize I don't have to connect with anybody. I'll give you another example. Most schools, I don't know over here, most schools shuffle children every year or every alternate year. A child came and told me, what's the point of making friends? Anyway, my friends are going to be shuffled next year. So that's one thing that I've seen has made a lot of children very lonely, because as friends keep changing, they realize I don't have to get close with everybody. Hi-bye is more than enough. So I think one really beautiful skill, I think, personally as a psychiatrist, the ability to deeply connect with children. That's a very important skill, I believe, that children can really develop to connect with each other. So with this, I hand it over to Sir. Sir is going to talk about 21st century skills, and then we will open it out, yeah? Quick. So you're opening remarks.
So you have a question to him?
Yes. According to me, preferably 6th standard to 10th standard, I would recommend not to shuffle unless and until the child has a specific problem in that particular class. So if the child says, I have been targeted for something and I don't want to be in this section, then you should push that child alone to another section. But I technically feel this random shuffling of class every year, I feel that has created a lot of children who don't want to have deep relationships with anybody. They only want superficial because they know at the back of their mind, this friend may not be there next year. So I wouldn't. In fact, one child came and told. Exactly. So shuffling, in my opinion, I really believe shuffling from 6th to 10th, you should avoid. 1 to 5 is fine because they really want to make more friends. From 6th to 10th, mostly a child wants stability in the mind, wants to know to have long-term relationships. So I think that should be the focus. Yeah, over to sir.
Ma'am, you have a question
Yes.
to ask? Yes.
Okay. Exactly. The specific cases of shuffling should not be from you, from them. The child should feel that I don't want to be in this class. I feel I'm being targeted in this class. I feel there is an issue in this class. I would love to go to another class. Or the parent feels some reason. Yeah, can I have a mic for ma'am? A mic? Okay.
So these 4 friends, they were in class 7th, so they were not shuffled. 8th standard again, 9th standard again. So 9th we shuffled them because we wanted them to concentrate, on whatever is being taught in the class. Since they were brilliant, every teacher had this problem that they were disturbing the class. So we shuffled and there was a lot of, turmoil. They cried a lot. But believe me, it has really worked in their favor.
It's worked for you as a principal in the school, but psychologically for the child, it's a scar all through life. That's my take.
So
It's
that
a
means
scar.
we should not
Yeah,
separate friends.
I would always suggest, see, today to make friends is very difficult, ma'am. I'll be honest with you.
Yes, I
Very
know.
difficult, especially in your teens.
Correct.
Because everybody. So I would really suggest them to have long term to continue. That's, I've also done a lot of read up, a lot of research globally. Now, globally, the thought process is after technology has come, more children should learn to have
Isolated.
long-term human relationship.
Yeah,
So in
because-
my opinion, if 4 people are talking a lot, I will be super happy. I will shuffle all the 4 together to another class.
But at the
to
same
build
time,
that
we have given them leverage. Lunchtime, they're together.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
And
fine.
wherever we can put them together,
Yeah.
they are.
But I would
Right.
always suggest to not to shuffle.
Yeah, so I'll keep
this
it
is
in
my
mind.
thing for all of y'all.
Right.
Don't shuffle, especially from 6 to 10.
Okay.
So that they level up. Not have your PT classes combined, language classes may be combined, so they get to meet others and make friends.
Right,
But
right.
have that stability go all through the years. That
Okay.
makes a lot of difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you. We have a very senior psychologist. I'm a psychiatrist, okay? I'm sorry for that. And as principal, what I can share, every session is a learning experience, so I'm sure we are here to learn from each other. As ma'am was sharing, there's a difference of opinion. It happens, but certainly it takes us to the good points. So first of all, my question to you is, we started a topic on skills, skill education. So what do you understand? What is your understanding about the skill? How do we define a skill actually? And then we will come to why and what kind of skills. Sir has already touched upon, you said 4 C's, okay? So first of all, what do you understand by skill? Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Efficiently? Okay. Correct. Yes. So to keep pace with the changing surroundings, environment, there was a time, in my era at least, when there were no computers, right? We were young, only typing. So if you want to apply for a job, the advertisement was 40 words per minute. We had to type, you remember that? And then came computer. So we were so afraid of that typewriter, how will we reach to that speed? And then what happened? You write a mail now, how long it takes? You don't even think about those keys. You just having your coffee and just typing it, because we have learned that skill as adults, right? So that is what you rightly said. It is an ability to perform a task more efficiently. Now, if we want to classify these skills, we can categorize them into 3 categories. So what are these? Learning skills, then we have these literacy skills, and then we have those life skills. And overall, we call them 21st century skills. Often we have heard this word 21st. The child should be equipped with 21st century skills. So my question is, what are these 21st century skills, and why do a child need them? Obviously, to be successful in his life, yes. So first, as I said, learning skills. We have already touched upon that, 4 C's. What are these 4 C's? We'll quickly go through again. First is collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and last, when we reach to that, then we create something, creativity. So there is a sequence. Many a times people start from creativity and then come down to communication. So it is the right sequence. Then we have those learning skills. You know, we learn so many things. We learn from media, we read books, we watch. So those are the learning skills, the knowledge we gain, okay? And the last is those life skills. What he said, interpersonal, talking to the people, teamwork, most important. So these are the 3 categories of the skills, first of all. And now, as most of us schools are from CBSE, you all are aware, in the NEP also, they are focusing on what? They are focusing on skill education, right? And now they have introduced it in the middle level also, class 6 to 8. Do you know how many skill subjects have been introduced in the middle? Yes.
31.
And then we move to the secondary, again 20 plus skill subjects are there. And then in the secondary, the number goes very high, senior secondary. It is more than 42 courses of skill education. Can you imagine? So there is a separate department now in CBSE, all of you know, headed by Dr. Vishwa. Yes. Mr. Saha is heading that. Similarly, there is a ministry in our country. What is that ministry? Ministry of, yes, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE. And that is also working towards this skill development. Why? Because this is the need of the hour. That is why. Now, very quickly, I'll just take 1 more minute to ask you, please tell us what is the benefit if we talk about these skill subjects. You know, 5 subjects are important. Everybody knows 5 compulsory subjects in class 10. So why do a child take the 6th subject? Parents will say it's an additional burden. Sir, why do we take it? Are you aware what is the necessity or what is the importance of this 6th subject? What is called skill subject? For example, in my school, I have introduced 3 subjects in 10th class. FMM, that is financial market. Second one is information technology. And then third one is marketing, which is connected to commerce stream. So what is the advantage? Anybody would like to share? What is the advantage of taking this subject in 10th class? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Ji. Okay. Okay. Very beautifully said. But I will be little more specific about this. Ma'am, want to share something? Please. Yes.
I think we are open up for questions.
Yes, we will.
See, we cannot expect every child to be good in academics.
Yes.
But if they are skilled,
Right.
then we can expect that after class 12th, they can go in that direction and they can have good source of income and they can become entrepreneurs also.
Okay. But I'll tell you a very important point here. You know, we have a mix of students. As you said, you know, there are various categories of students. Some are very bright, some are medium, some are average, below average. So the important part is, if a child, remember, fails in any of the 3 subjects except the languages, that is, what are 3 compulsory subjects? science, maths, and social studies. If a child by chance fails in any of these, the marks are picked up from that sixth subject, skill subject. And remember that skill subject has 50% weightage of written exam and another 50% of the practical. Financial market, IFM, Introduction to Financial Management. 50% marks are given from NSE. You know what is that NSE? National Stock Exchange. There's an online practical which takes place. They have to virtually buy and sell shares. So that is first advantage. In case a child fails, doesn't secure good marks in maths, immediately the marks will be replaced by financial market and he will get the good percentage. Correct? Second thing, child is getting an additional skill in 10th class. Right? Later he may choose to become a broker, right? Or there are banker, so many fields, insurance companies. So these are the few advantages I'm sharing. Over to you, sir.
Sure. So let's open up the audience for any questions on skills, on education, on challenges you face, and both of us would try our best to answer. I'll start off with a small anecdote. You know, on skills, all these talks are there. So I was in a global conference, and one person, I was the person actually, and we were just discussing. And I said, studying in a state board school, where there were absolutely not much skills, very less subject, everyday PT period, everyday children out to play, lovely time in a state board school. The person who studied there is today running Google, Sundar Pichai. He never studied any skills in schools, not much AI. He decides what AI is happening today globally. A person who studied in a normal, good CBSE school in Hyderabad, who never even touched a computer all through his school, today runs Microsoft. Satya Nadella. He runs Microsoft. He's never touched a computer all his life in a school. So he runs. So in my opinion, as a psychiatrist and globally what I'm seeing right now, many people have started talking, why are we taking away the imaginative power of a child from a textbook? See, if you show an online video, the child has already decided this is how the character is, this is the color, this is the emotion, this is the sound. He's already prejudiced. But at the same time, when you read it from a book, the child imagines. Like when I read Jane Austen, I imagined Darcy to have one color dress. My friend imagined Darcy to have another color dress. So that triggered a lot of discussion, triggered a lot of debate, triggered a lot of connection among each other. I think we should start to at least have a couple of periods every day without any digital, where children can connect with each other, children can collaborate, discuss, imagination, and I think that's a very, very powerful skill we have to develop in our children. The ability to imagine something, the ability to creatively solve that in their mind, and also to think through that particular thing. So I think that's a very, very important skill.
Rightly said, sir.
Yeah, it's a very important skill. Yes, someone who wants to have a question?
Okay.
No one? Ma'am, Rita ma'am, you want to ask something? On skills? Yeah. What's the challenge from parents? Okay. 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 Yeah. So I worked with around close to 130 schools and around 500 schools overall in my last 8 years. And I can really tell you some strategies with parents that really work. One strategy is your parent orientation at the beginning of the year. Rather than having it as once a year orientation, I think you should have it in a sustained format, like open houses with parents, where you actually give the rationale behind doing something. That's what they want. They want the rationale. Second thing that most parents want is, they don't want to feel marginalized. Will my son miss out on something which the other school is doing? That's a fear many parents have, the kind of FOMO. The third thing that I also think about a lot of parents is, having parental fans in your school is very important. Who are parental fans? People who are little learned, who are respectful, who understand your ethos and vision, to have as parent leaders in the school. And this is a very structured approach we have followed in a couple of schools, where the parents become raving fans. And I'll tell you a classic example during COVID, when fees was not coming in. It was these parental groups that joined together, convinced the other parents that our school, it's for the good of our schools and our children's future that we need to pay the fees for that. So that's a lovely way that you can actually build up. Parents listen to teachers, but parents listen more to fellow parents. So if you can get fellow parents in the group to really like your curriculum, become a raving fan, then that's the most easiest way to actually implement any change. Any take on that, sir?
I agree to you. And as you shared your concern regarding the parents, their mindset, there is a need. We need to change that over the period of time. It's very important. And how will it happen? He's already shared continuous interactions, meetings with them, open houses. Now, very important thing, as the time is running, I'll just take 2 minutes more. It's very important for all of us. It becomes our prime responsibility as school leaders to identify those skills at the early age. We have just seen the example of D. Gukesh, and it is not the only one example. The father identified at the age of 11, and now within 7 years, he's become world champion. Why? Because the skills were developed.
I can add on to Gukesh because we work with that school, Velamal. I'll tell you what Velamal does. This is for all the principals who know about Gukesh. Do you all know Gukesh's story? I'll tell you what that school did. 2017, they changed the curriculum of the school into a different format. It's a CBSE school called Velamal in Chennai. And what they did is, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th standard, they gave exposure to chess, football, cricket, 5 sports, alternatively to the children. Exactly at 6th standard, with the data that they got, they divided the classes into 4 classes. Class A was a normal class with academic students who loved academics. Class B and Class C had a mixture of academics and art and entertainment. So say a child loves Bharatanatyam more. The Class B and C used to have a lot more of Bharatanatyam. Now the magic happened in Class D. That was where Gukesh was sitting, Pragananda was sitting, all of them were sitting. What happens is, these children come to school only for 3 hours. 9 o'clock to 12, 12:30 is their academics. Their academics periods were divided into 50 minutes. They had 4 academic periods of 50 minutes every day. Lunch break will happen. Just after lunch break, they have 2.5 to 3 hours of the sport that they are practicing every single day. That means, imagine 3 hours from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, 4 hours, Gukesh practices chess every single day of the school day. So that means 4 into, you put it into 300, he has gone through 1,200 days of chess practice every single day, where his contemporaries were sitting and studying maths, physics, and chemistry. So his system was put, and I tell you, that school alone has created 6 prodigies in chess, and that's only the chess aspect. They have created Bharatanatyam toppers, they have created swimming toppers, tennis toppers, today even cricket. Some of the state level players are from that school because of the shift they made in Class D. So I think that's something all of you can take forward. When you shift ABC, according to the child's talent, you can split ABC, have it till 6th to 8th standard. 8th standard, the child can re-back and say, okay, I lost interest in this sport. He can go back to the A where the academics again takes over. So that's a right way of doing it for Gukesh. I'm telling you how Gukesh was developed. Correct. It was the school and only the school's tweaking that actually identified his talent to that extent and gave him the time to practice. Yeah.
Rightly said, sir, sharing your thoughts. Same thought comes to my mind, long back, I had some students, as I was sharing, it is our prime duty, and we have to sensitize these parents, not only to focus on the rat race, which is physics, chemistry, maths, and become engineers, and then they face the unemployment. In Maharashtra, there was an article, I don't know, you read few years back when I was settled in Maharashtra, 10,000 engineers, 10,000, believe me the number, applied for a peon's post. That was the news headline, and it was shocking because everybody is going for engineering without even thinking. And even now as principals, we see many a times we get the resumes, with the engineering background. When you talk to them, they have no clue about education, what is going on in the education field. If you talk to them about multiple intelligence, they have never heard this name in their life. Can you believe it? So that is what I am saying, catch them young. I have a student who is a top Bollywood singer, and I tell you, he was 0 in academics, a politician's son. Way back in 2005, when I was settled in Dehradun, the school is Willems. And this name is Zubin Nautiyal. So he picked up early because he had liking for music. So we gave him a lot of chance to learn music. Initially playing, you know, that we had only one, not even the Casio, we had that old one, Dabbawala, harmonium, yes. So this teacher called Sangeeta ma'am started from that time and he picked up interest in singing. And you know, gradually what happened? He has become the most famous Bollywood singer now, okay? So we have to give a lot of examples to these parents and then gradually the things will change because I tell you, skill education has a lot of scope in terms of employability, right? Isn't it?
All right.
You know, I tell you what, one simple example. I asked my plumber one day, simple, plumber. I said, he came to my house, just, okay, last 30 seconds, permission. You know, I asked him, half an hour he worked, sir, 800 rupees. I said, what? So he said, sir, these are my charges. I said, how much you earn every day? Sir, 5,000 rupees. Can you imagine? A plumber, because he has those skills we don't have. And we see him as a lower grade person, that he is a plumber. But if you go abroad, then every profession is treated equally. So it is our duty. That's why these courses have come in the CBSE. Let us promote them, promote the skill education. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, and thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.